Hello, fellas. Welcome once again. And this morning, this is how it all started. The Northern youths, or let me correct myself, the Fulani youths, have come out to attack Alex Onyia. Alex Onyia was that Igbo guy who took the pain, who went painstakingly to check Jamb server to discover that there was an intentional error or omission that failed nothing less than 3 million students right here in Lagos down to Southeast. Alex Onyia, who is the founder and CEO of Educare, has been advocating for reforming and revolutionizing the educational sector of Nigeria. Most especially, his focus has been on all admissive examinations, right? He has been talking about reforming the WAEC, the NECO, and indeed the Jamb. So recently, as you can see on my screen there, he said, I spoke with a man from the north whose son scored 160 in this Jamb exam. And he is very confident that his son will get medicine and surgery. I felt really sad and disturbed. Can Nigerian universities just eliminate rubbish and judge students purely based on academic performance? I think Alex Onyia is just trying to play the ostrich because I know he's vastly knowledgeable, but I commend him for the courage he has. Looking at the recent backlash he just had, because when Alex Onyia, this man who has exposed Jamb to be trying to marginalize some section of the country, because a section of the country, which are the southeast, in the past 10 years have been exceedingly successful in Jamb and WAEC. They have always come at top. In fact, when the exams were written, there was a school in the southeast, Abia precisely, nobody scored less than 300. Indeed. So the minimum person in that school in Abia, I think was 305. The highest was around 374. Right? Initially, all the students that scored above 300 in that exam they wrote early last month of May, they were failed. So Alex Onyia, who took it upon himself, and for me, this is a man who should command respect, and every of his advice must be taken. But the North today are telling Alex Onyia that he must keep short. Oh, is it seeing himself like someone who is untouchable now? That very soon hand go touch arm. Because the last time he came out, yes, the Jamb registrar, Professor Loyede, who even went to the national TV, was shedding tears, shedding crocodile tears, that he should be responsible. However, that man has not been sacked. Though. That registrar has not been sacked. Tinubu just looked away like nothing happened. Tinubu could not even know not one single word. And now, who am I to blame the North, whom for the past 50 to 60 years, they have been categorized as, they call them educational less privilege or something like that, maybe ELPS. They call them education less privileged states. So if you score 300 as a southerner to study electrical engineering, a northerner we need to score 100 less points than that for him to get admitted into such courses. And we have seen so many northerners who are now attacking Alex Oche. In fact, some of them, let me read some of their reports to them. Someone has said that that this is a guy who is trying to be sarcastic. He said, 160 is compulsory admission for every northerner. Take me as a good example. I scored 60 in Jamb. All I had to do was speak Fufude, which is the Fulani language, to the general vice chancellor. I was granted admission. Today I am a practicing doctor, thanks to Muslim. Listen, yes, whatever they want to say, Alex Onyia has not said one single lie. Why was the quota system created? That was the intentionality of the North to hijack and to destroy the advancement of the Southern education. If you wanted the North to catch up with the South in education, then why was that quota system or that cut-off mark system that was created for North to catch up with South, why was it not time bound? For 50 something years, my people, for 50 something years, they have always used this quotarized system, criterions, two double standards of criterions. The South is always higher than the North. When you want to go into the Federal Civil Service Commission, the level of exam, the difficulty of examination that you write as a Southerner will definitely be different to what a Northerner will write. But at the end of the day, go into the Civil Service Commission. When you take a look deep in, you look at the very important sectors and departments, you'll find out that people who are less in IQ, in knowledge, in intelligence, right, whom came in through less, less scrutiny, right, will be the director generals of departments of parastatals. Go into customs, go into immigrations, go into police, just all the goddamn parastatals that we have, which are administrating the daily operations of Nigeria. You will find out that mostly they are from the northern extraction, right? And they came in through a less standard of examination. And then you are saying that why is Nigeria in a mediocre state? Why would Nigeria be in a mediocre state? They are trying to fight this guy, Alex Onyia. They are doing everything possible to silence Alex Onyia. They are doing everything humanly possible so that that quota system will not be cancelled. If a Tinubu tries to say that, okay, I want to rejig the Jamb, the cut-off marks now should be uniform. Everybody, after all, according to the Constitution, are equal. So why should the North be treated with so much privilege in terms of education? In terms of anything that has to do with federal government, at your state level, nobody cares. If your university, if your state government decides to create a state university, and at that state university, they decide to make the cutoff mark for the state indigenes into electrical engineering to be 150 in Jamb, I don't think the federal government will have anything against that, right? But for any federal university, there should be a federal consensus when it comes to the requirement, the criteria to get admission. The federal government must be devoid of any form of dichotomy. But we know that those that constituted, that wrote that conceptualized the Constitution, the framework of admissions, who were working in the bias of the North, they were intentional and they did everything. And from that period of time, the North has always hijacked the educational system. I am serious. I am damn serious about this. This is an ambush against the South. Because why shall my son have to study so hard? I haven't scored maybe 260, 270, and I find out a child who calls himself a Nigerian, but because he's from the North, applied for the same course my son applied for. But at the end of the day, what I find interesting is my son was not given admission because he scored 260, but the guy from the North who scored perhaps 200 was given that same course. How do you want to tell me that this is a country? How is a nation built on falsehood? Nigeria is a falsehood story. Nigeria is a perfect narrative for false deception, lies, and everything negative about nation building. The same attitude, the same format is what they have taken into the Nigerian army. Yes, there are preference given to the North in the army. Yes. When you talk about even the Nigerian police, you would realize that when you arrest someone who probably has knows one Seriki or what have you, before you know it, they will be released. There is this immunity, there's this special voodoo is that has the toga touch not my northerner that is existing today. It is not written, but it is all over our face. That if a northerner say a word, he will not be arrested, right? But look at the words of Shegumi. Look at the things Shegumi have said. Look at what so many northern activists, politicians, look at what Dati Baba Ahmed said during that presidential election petition tribunal saga. That he said that Nigeria will fall into anarchy. Tinubu is a false certificate, is a and all that. If it was Obi that said such a word, what do you think would have happened to him? The last time Obi tried to be combative, you know, we know how the federal government were trying to intimidate him. At this stage, we, as far as we are still in this unfortunate contraption, we must rise as a collective South. And I've always said it that for the South to have that breakaway, to be liberated from the hegemony, from the shackles, from the retrogressiveness of the northern oligarchs, the collective South, including the Middle Belt, must learn and accept and agree to work together. That's just it. One block of the South cannot face the whole of North. The core North, because the core North have been so united using that religious, tendencies, right? They have been so groomed and united in that religious tendencies. So you will see that they always tend to align. That was why Tinubu was able to win, because he played into their sentiment using the what's it called? The Muslim ticket agenda. The collective South, while I agree that the Southwest and Southeast, most often than not, will always disagree, but I've always said it that if it wasn't because of the northern element, the Southwest and Southeast, yes, would have been very competitive, but will have been an healthy competition. It would have been a competition that I did this just in the old days of the United States of America and the Soviet Union, right? I bring up this innovation, you do yours. When they were racing to the moon, when Kennedy, Jeff Kennedy, when he came out and he announced that America in 5 years' time must be the first to get a rocket into the moon, that they must be able to land into the moon, right? Russia also did the same. When America, when they were having that race to be the first person to create the weapon of mass destruction, which is nuclear bomb, Russia were doing theirs, America were doing theirs. They were copying each other, and along the line, America got there first. Then, I think some couple of months and years, maybe in a couple of 1 year or two, Russia were able to do their own. That is what we call healthy competition. Today, you cannot say America and Russia are, they have that, what they call, bad blood relationship. No, they don't. If, if the chicken comes home to roast and there is a greater enemy, the Russia and the Americans will work together. It's as simple as that. Take, for instance, the issue of the World War II. The America and the Russians, they all worked together to defeat Hitler. So in this situation, the Southeast, the Southwest, and the South-South, we must work together to defeat our own Hitler of Nigeria, which happens to be the northern oligarchs. I don't know if you are with me. Pay attention. I have watched and listened to some of my subscribers who tell me I am repetitive. Listen, Nigeria itself, does it look like Nigeria is progressing? What we have in the Nigerian political atmosphere is a repetition of news. Next year, the same flood that happened in Niger State will possibly happen. That yearly flood that whenever they release the water of Lagdo Dam from Cameroon will possibly happen this year between now and December, whereby we'll have so many states right from the northeast deep down into Anambra where they will all get flooded and farmed. So what else? We have to talk about the issues. We have to keep hammering on this matter. Everybody knows that Nigeria is not working. Everybody knows that the trajectory, the pathway, the current path Nigeria is being, traded on right now is destruction. Everybody knows. This is why you see that it is only the political elites who are the major beneficiaries of the one Nigerian toga. It is the northern politicians, the southwest politicians, the south politicians, the southeast politicians that will come out and be shouting, Nigeria must remain one, Nigeria must be united, Nigeria must not split. I don't get it. Nigeria splitting, if it is for, it is not, if it is definitely for good. I mean, the worst case scenario that I believe every region would even accept, if we begin to have regional system of governance. In my regional system of governance, I will set the standard of my education. If I want my education in my region, this is the standard. I mean, this were the things Awolowo, the likes of Mike Okpara, what they did in those days. And Tafawa Balewa, he did everything to ensure his northern youths and populace got educated. But he reduced the criteria. That is their own business. If I am less intelligent in the south, I would then go to the north and join them. I know there will be other stringent requirements, but at least because I am less intelligent, I will go to the north. If the north are defending this question that Alex Onyia asks, then this northern youth should call for the total cancellation of the quotarization of our cutoff marks. They should. All this sarcasm, all these responses are needless to me. Don't attack Alex Onyia. Alex Onyia is not the enemy. If you believe and if you agree that you guys are equally intelligent, that you've caught up with the South, then the northern youth, elites, education, academicians should, as a matter of urgency, hit the street of Abuja, go to Jamb headquarters in Abuja, tell them that we want this quota system for the North finally raised. We want to be a par with the South. We are not less intelligent. You cannot start forming, what's it called? Defender of the North when you know that you got admission because there was a program in place. They call it IEL, whatever, educational less privileged states, ELSP. You got into that medicine. Now you are now a medical doctor, but the foundation that you used to get into that university was flawed. You cannot come out and be claiming, you cannot be telling the North that this, Oga, if you are sincere, deeply sincere, the support that Alex Onyia needs, or the kickbacks and clackbacks, the clackbacks Alex Onyia needs from the northern youths who are claiming to be so educated is simple. Call for Jamb to cancel the cutoff marks. Simple. In WAEC, in Jamb, let everybody be a par as far as federal government university is concerned. I'm not talking about states. Okay, so if it's Abu Zaria, if it is Federal University of Mediocrity, if it is University of Abuja, if it is Federal University of Fulani, if it is University of Lagos, we have to have one cutoff mark to study electrical engineering in all those universities. Just one single cutoff mark to study in accounting. So it shouldn't be the Lagos State cutoff mark to study accounting is 250 as a southerner. Then in the same University of Lagos, he's saying as a northerner, all you need to score is 210. No. Such dichotomy, the North, if you know that you are capable, I dare you to go against and campaign that Jamb should nullify and cancel all these requirements. If you're just joining, please kindly like, subscribe, and share. Bye for now.